You ever hear of this guy named Bernie Sanders? He's this raggedy guy from Vermont. I think he's inspired a couple people over the last few years. And he puts forward, I'd say, very non-radical proposals. He puts forward proposals that back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s were kind of just like the mainstream of American politics. But after we held an auction for our public officials in the 1970s and 80s, all of a sudden, Bernie Sanders' policies were considered radical and socialist. No, what's radical is having a system based on legalized bribery. What's radical is having a system that prioritizes doing the bidding for your donors rather than doing the bidding for the citizens you were elected to represent. So Bernie Sanders now came out after last year, came forward with a very specific policy proposal to ensure Medicare for all citizens, which a lot of these Johnny-come-lately Democrats that suddenly want to run for president, they signed on, talking to you, Kamala Harris, talking to you, Cory Booker, talking to you, Kirsten Gillibrand. I digress. So Bernie is now coming forward with a plan to guarantee jobs to every single American who wants one. Something that is not radical is kind of what a man named Franklin Delano Roosevelt tried to do and largely was successful in guaranteeing jobs, government jobs. So let me read you from the Washington Post. Hate to read from the Post, but this was the first one I found. Headline: Bernie Sanders to announce plan to guarantee every American a job. Senator Bernie Sanders will announce a plan for the federal government to guarantee a job paying $15 an hour with health benefits to every American worker, quote, who wants or need one. Embracing the kind of large-scale government works projects that Democrats have shied away from in recent decades. Sanders' jobs guarantee would fund hundreds of projects through the United States aimed at addressing priorities such as infrastructure, caregiving, the environment, education, and other goals. Under the job guarantee, every American would be entitled to a job under one of these projects or receive job training to be able to do so, according to an early draft of the proposal. Oh my God, what a fucking radical this man is, Bernie Sanders. What a radical lunatic. What a lunatic. Oh my God, Bernie Sanders, he wants to create jobs that will address infrastructure, caregiving, the environment, education. Oh my Lord, how are we gonna handle such a thing in America? A representative from Sanders' office said they had not yet done a cost estimate for the plan or decided how it would be funded, saying they were still crafting the proposal. Sanders joins two other rumored 2020 Democratic presidential contenders who have expressed support for the idea of a jobs guarantee. Jobs guarantee advocates say their plan would drive up wages by significantly increasing competition for workers, ensuring that corporations have to offer more generous salaries and benefits if they want to keep their employees from working for the government. Supporters say it would also reduce racial inequality because black workers face unemployment at about twice the rates of white workers, as well as gender inequality because many iterations of the plan call for the expansion of federal child care work. Both of those are very important. Let me start with the first part. Jobs guarantee advocates say their plan would drive up wages by significantly increasing competition for workers, ensuring that corporations have to offer more generous salaries. Hey, you know what else does that? Strong labor unions. Because back in the 50s and the 60s, the strong labor unions in this country forced non-union private companies to offer competitive salaries because they didn't want their workers to unionize. So they offered competitive salaries compared to what the union jobs were so that their workers would not try to unionize. It's the same exact system and mentality here. I also think, based on my reporting around the country, it was always insane to me when you hear these people talking about Bernie Sanders is racist and Bernie Sanders doesn't understand Black America and Bernie Sanders just doesn't understand what Black people go through. Hello, I do know that I'm a white person saying this. I do know I've never dealt with economic racism or racism in any form. But on the merits, every single one of Bernie Sanders' economic policies would disproportionately help Black and brown people in this country. That's a fact. Minimum wage increase disproportionately helps minorities. And it should. This hour would be life-changing for most workers making far less than that. Imagine if you're making $8.50 right now or less. I've met people making $7.25 in Alabama and other places. That's life-changing. So, of course, Bernie, this radical Bernie Sanders. Of course, Bernie, being the radical he is, this policy, oh, no, the establishment don't want, the establishment can't handle it. You kidding me? Guaranteed government jobs? Fix the infrastructure? Fix the environment? Caregiving? Oh, my Lord, we can't take this. So, of course, corporate media is freaking out. Corporate media is freaking out. And, there's one guy, I don't know him, I've never tweeted with him, I've never talked to him, but he just gets on my nerves. His name is Kevin Drum. Kevin Drum. And he's a writer or blogger, I don't really know, from Mother Jones. And he's got a real, kind of fetish and obsession with Bernie Sanders and progressives. And whenever a progressive poses something, he writes these awful things. He also did this piece basically saying, stop saying the water in Flint isn't clean based on no evidence that it is clean. I don't know why Mother Jones has this guy on board, but frankly, Mother Jones isn't exactly what Mother Jones was when I used to read it. Used to be pretty damn progressive. Now, not so much. But Kevin Drum of Mother Jones wrote in response to Bernie's proposal, here we go, need a job? Just call Bernie Sanders. Need a job? Just call Bernie. So right there, already, he's out of the gate. Totally belittling Bernie Sanders, totally condescending. Need a job? Just call Bernie. It drips of that establishment arrogance. So what's Kevin Drum's beef with Bernie Sanders trying to propose job guarantee? Let's do a little back-of-the-envelope arithmetic here. There are about 113 million full-time wage earners in America right now, and roughly a quarter of them make less than $15 an hour. Add in healthcare benefits, and you're up to a third of the labor force making less than they would under Bernie's plan. That's about 37 million people. Now toss in some part-time workers and some self-employed workers, and we're up to something in the order of 50 million people. I failed math in 11th grade, but I got to tell you something. I don't know where he's getting that roughly a quarter of them make less than $15 an hour. A lot more than a quarter of the United States makes less than $15 an hour because there's a huge underemployment problem in this country. So by Kevin Drum's math, that's 50 million people who would be better off with a government guaranteed job than with the job they have now. In other words, it's insane, and I really hope I don't have to explain why. Oh, you tell me why, Kevin Drum. Why is it that it's insane based on your mathematics? Since this is just a proposal, let's also suppose that Bernie is providing universal health care and a minimum wage of $15, which I know he supports. In that case, everyone with a job would be just as well off keeping it. However, there would still be millions who don't have a job and want one, and millions more who might not like their jobs and would prefer a government job that's a little cushier. How many is that? Maybe 5 million? 10 million, and probably more like 15 to 20 million during a recession. That's still pretty damn close to insane. It's about 3 to 10% of the labor force effectively nationalized forever by the federal government, which makes it roughly comparable to the emergency labor force employed for a few years by the WPA during the depths of the Depression. This is why even our lefty comrades in social democratic Europe don't guarantee jobs for everyone. It would cost a fortune. It would massively disrupt the private labor market. It would also certainly tank productivity, and it's unlikely in the extreme that the millions of workers in this program could ever be made fully competent at their jobs. But in the era of Donald Trump, where everything is so easy when you're holding a rally on the campaign trail, I suppose it will sell. Everything pitched at a third grade level seems to these days. So, sigh. Go ahead and take your shots. Bernie bros. Oh boy. Oh boy. Mr. Drum, he couldn't resist. Had to attack us Bernie bros. I assume there's some female people watching me right now, so it's kind of insensitive. If you're gonna call me a Bernie bro, you better start calling people Bernie gals too. I want equality, even in condescension. It's not just Bernie bros, we're Bernie gals too, right? So I don't even know where to start with how stupid his piece is. But before I tell you how stupid his piece is, let me tell you what Bernie Sanders' policy advisor had to say about this piece. His name's Warren Gunnels. Here's two tweets by Bernie Sanders' policy advisor, Warren Gunnels. K. Drum, I will defend your right to free speech to the death. But when you mock the call for a job guarantee, you are mocking the legacy of Mother Jones, a revolutionary working class hero and co-founder of the IWW that wanted to abolish the private system. See, I don't know anything about Mother Jones. I really don't. But Bernie Sanders' policy advisor, Warren Gunnels, is basically saying when you mock the call for a job guarantee with your dripping with condescension headline, you're basically attacking the roots of Mother Jones, which back in the day were very, very progressive. So he followed up with, it would be one thing for Kevin Drum to work at the Neoliberal Times, meaning the New York Times, or the Incrementalist. Oh, I like that. Maybe get together with Bob Rubin, Larry Summers, and Alan Greenspan and join the Committee to Save the World Daily. But please, don't tarnish Mother Jones and what she stood for any longer. Damn! Damn, Warren! Is that where Bernie gets his zest and zing from? I couldn't have said it better myself. So first of all, I mean, there's so many problems with this idiot, imbecile, Kevin Drum's piece. First of all, you're doing arithmetic and you're citing why it won't work before the senator has even put out the plan. Now, when he does put out the plan, you might not like how he calls to pay for it. I got an idea of how you pay for it. Cut the military of the United States, not just in half, cut it 60%, 65%, 70%. You'll still be much safer than the 10 other countries that our military, the 10 other countries combined that our military budget dwarfs. Bernie Sanders hasn't even proposed his plan. It's announced that he's going to draft a bill to propose a job guarantee. And you know what? You know what? Kevin Drum, that piece might have been rewritten, might have been written by, that incrementalist, that progressive who likes to get things done, Hillary Clinton. How do you preemptively attack Bernie Sanders before he's even come out with the specifics? And by the way, when you say it's going to hurt the private workforce, the private labor market, there's this radical thing, Kevin. I don't know if you know how economics works, but if you give more and more people more and more money, guess what happens? They go spend that more and more money that they have in their wallets at other businesses. So it helps the labor market, including the private labor market. What the fuck is wrong with these people? Do they not understand how economics works? I think they do understand what economics works. The key is they don't want to threaten the free market. These neoliberals at Mother Jones, or as Bernie Sanders' policy advisor so eloquently said, the Neoliberal Times, which I like. I've never heard that before. And press this share button. Let's get it out to more people. It's kind of astounding to me that you have progressive media, progressive, air quotes, like Mother Jones coming out preemptively doing, I don't even know where the hell he got that math because it didn't even make sense the way he wrote it. They're attacking his plan before it's even out. And by the way, we've spent now it's $7 trillion. $7 trillion over the last 2 decades on war and bombing. I have a feeling that if you put those $7 trillion towards government jobs, again, here's how it works. Here's how it works. Sorry to use my Fuji and my paper towel as an example. Give employee Fuji a guaranteed job, more money in his pocket. Fuji walks all the way to the paper towel business to buy more paper towels. More paper towels bought. And when the paper towel store has more money, because Fuji has more water, so the Fuji guy goes to give more pay for more paper towels. Maybe he was slacking on paper towels because he didn't have the money to pay for them. Now he goes to buy more paper towels. Guess what? There's more money coming into the paper towel store, so that paper towel store is now going to buy, I don't know, a cell phone. Look at that. And then the cell phone store that's making more money goes to buy a nice wallet. Economics 101. You don't even have to go to college. You don't even have to go to college. And by the way, I have heard from some of you that Fiji water, I keep saying Fuji, it's Fiji. Apparently, Fiji water, which I drink because it's the safest water that I know of, I've done my research, they are starving or making Fiji die of thirst. So I'm going to look into that. Because there's not so many options with water that's safe. But I'll look into it. Oh, they're devastating the community. Maybe I'll go to Fiji, do a report on that. So, I mean, it's just astounding to me. Like, how stupid are these neoliberal corporate reporters? And how stupid do they think you are? Because you want to know something? It's not that we can't guarantee. It's not that we can't guarantee jobs to Americans. The problem is, if we did that, then we can't guarantee war for the defense contractors. And we can't guarantee oil for the oligarchs. That's the real issue. It's not that we can't, it's that we won't. So let's stop pretending that we can't guarantee healthcare or we can't guarantee jobs. And by the way, Bernie Sanders hasn't come out with his plan. Okay, but let's be clear. He's not, I don't believe what he's saying is a guaranteed job, even if you show up high and drunk and do needles in your arm in the office, or totally suck at your job, or sleeping at your desk. I'm a progressive, but I'm not like a total crazy person. Obviously, you have to work for the money that you're getting. Obviously, you have to produce at your job. What he's talking about is guaranteeing employment. I'm sure there will be particulars and fine print that you're not guaranteed it no matter what, even if you stand on your decks naked peeing on other people. Not that I do that. Enough with Mother Jones and all these idiots. I can't take it anymore.